Right, I just want to do a quick video about replacing the bridges on Jaguars and Jazzmasters. I've been buying a lot of them sort of used recently and seeing a lot of them where people have put the Mustang bridge on. But the only thing with that is, I don't know if you can see that style bridge. The only problem with them is their 7.25 radius and the neck on the Vintage Modified Jaguar and Jazzmasters and even the Fender Classic Player Jazzmasters and Jaguars 9.5 radius, so they're not going to fit. So when you get to the high and low E string, they're going to be really close to the fingerboard. So obviously this one I've bought used, come with one of the Mustang bridges, so I'm going to replace it with one of these. Now this is off a Squier Vintage Modified Mustang, which have 9.5 inch radius, but the thing with these is they have adjustable saddles, so you can adjust the height to match the radius of the fingerboard. So you could use these on a 7.25, obviously you have to raise all the middle ones up, and use them on a 9.5 and probably a 12 as well. But for a standard Squier Vintage Modified Jaguar Jazzmaster, these Mustang style bridges don't fit. And I know a lot of people do them, I've even said in the past, but to fit these, but I never realised until recently that the radius was set like that, so you'll never get the action right on it. So let me zoom in and I'll show you how I change them. Right, so the way I change them is I'll stick a capo on the fretboard, loosen the strings off, just so you got enough slack to get the bridge out. So you need probably about an inch of slack on these. Bear with me. Right, so I've loosened all the strings off, so get the bridge out. Now the new one I'm going to put in, which is obviously the Squier Vintage Modified Mustang bridge. These bridges are floating, so they rock about. So it's okay if you're using vibrato, but I'd rather it be staying in tune a little better. So what I tend to do is just get a little bit of electrical tape, just wrap it around the poles there, so just sort of enough just to stop it rattling about in that cavity there. So just sort of a couple of inches is enough. Again, you can still use a vibrato, it just helps with tuning stability, because I know a lot of people have a problem with these, but this should help a little bit. So I'm guesstimating here, so hopefully that's enough. So get that back in, and there you go, that's in there solid now. So next thing is tighten all the strings back up. I'll be back. Right, so that's all back on. So what you need to do next is adjust all these saddles so they sit with the correct radius, which is obviously 9.5. You've also got some adjustment screws here. I tend to just raise them a little bit, just to give you a little bit more of a brake angle. So then you need to go through each individual saddle, making sure they're sort of along with the radius. So always make sure when you adjust these saddles that you do it so the saddles sit flush to the body of the guitar, so keep them level. So when you tighten one of the saddle screws, make sure the other saddle screws sort of kept in line. So I tend to go from the 12th fret on the low E string 1.5 millimeters and work down to 1.25 millimeters on the high E string. So again, when you've got it all in sort of set correctly, you get the right radius for the neck of the guitar as on the bridge. So that's basically it. And then once I've done that, I set the intonation, but you always make sure you set the intonation with a brand new set of strings, else it won't sort of work properly. You'll be all over the place. You start with, say, the low E string, so you get the open E string, and then you get the octave, which is the high string, so you want to get them notes matching, so you need to adjust the saddles accordingly, so you do all that all the way along. So you want the saddle sort of in a step, so you go from high, low, lower, high, low, lower. So that's basically it really. So yeah, a lot of people, like I say, replace the standard Jaguar Jazzmaster bridges because they sort of string slip, but then replace them with the Mustang bridge, which is not right at all. So these won't work properly with a 9.5 inch radius neck because these are 7.25, but obviously you can get different brands, Stage Frame and other makes that do sort of do these with 9.5 radius, but yeah, so there you go. These bridges, again, I say, off a Squier Vintage Modified Mustang, but they do sell them on eBay for about £6 with the adjustable saddles, so just make sure you get the ones with the adjustable saddles and the groove there, so obviously you don't get the string slippage from what you get with the standard Jaguar Jazzmaster bridge. So right, so hope that helps a few people out, and thanks for watching.